Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In my last video, we had put the gantry in. I had said that the next thing that we were going to do was going to be the beds. Well, I'm sure that you caught it. There was no belts for the Z-axis. Okay, so what I did was I went and put those through and just put the top one on. I'll give you a close-up here so you can see there is where the through is, and I left it like this, just because I don't think that that's going to be a problem from stretching and all that stuff. So I left it like this, and then I'll give you a close-up of how it looks when you put it in there. So when it's in there, it goes through the pulley, out the top, and out this bottom. This bottom one goes directly down to here, which then locks that in, and then it goes around the pulley under this little spacer, I guess you could call it, around this pulley down. It goes through here, through those little holes there. There's two little holes on the bottom and top, and then it goes through here. Then what I'm going to be doing, so this goes like this, right? So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be releasing these. Okay, I'm going to be releasing this portion that is screwed into here. So then I will be able to lock this belt in, because it goes on the inside like this. It goes on the inside and then goes out the back, coming this way, out this way. Okay, so let me put the camera back up, and you can watch as I do that. Again, it's not too difficult. The wiring, well, the belting diagram, not wiring diagram, is pretty self-explanatory, and it really shows. It really shows quite a bit, and it's very easy to follow. Okay, so I'm going to loosen one at a time and lower this, and then I will go ahead and loosen that and put the belt through there. So, have our wrenches here. Which it's kind of interesting in the manual, because it says to put these on and then put the belts on. But if you put these on, it's hard to put the belts on because this screws into that piece. So I don't know how they intended on doing that, but kind of interesting that it says to do that. It said to do this piece before you put the belts on. I don't know how that's possible, but maybe it is. It kind of seems like it would be kind of hard to do. So then we'll go like this, and I'll loosen these. Right now I'm loosening this because this is the tensioner. So I want to be able to pull a little bit of extra out of here. And then when I hold this, I can tension this a little bit and just make this taut. I want to see how far it takes to get this completely off. Okay, so that's completely off. Okay, so now it has a slight bit amount of tension. And I'm going to try and get another thing out of it because then I'll be able to tension it. And I can imagine these belts are going to stretch. How much, I don't know. But I could imagine they're definitely going to stretch. So that actually feels pretty tight in there. So that is pretty tight right there. And the belts, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the belt tensioner and just see how this matches up. This is the same belt tensioner that we built in the previous stream. It's a GT2. So I'm gonna go grab that. I'll be right back. For those that watched my other video, here's the belt tensioner. Let's make sure that it's still good. And 1.9, that's what we're looking for the gauge. So this is about a 3. And I'm wondering so as I loosen this, it's at 2.2 right now. Two point two. 2.2. we'll do this to kind of loosen it up. And actually it's 2.4. What it is. I'm gonna loosen it up just a touch more. Okay, 2.3. 2.3. I'm gonna leave it like that. If I need to tension them more or take a little bit off, I can just loosen this right here, and then that'll be good. So yeah, just give it a nice little bump just to make sure. I don't like that this rocks, so I might actually loosen up, give it a little bit more, and then use the tensioner to drive it down, because this rocks just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. And let's see, so yeah, if I tighten it that little bit, so let's, so that would be snug there. Let's see what that is. So that's almost 3. That's like 2.9. Yeah, I'll call that 2.9. Check this one. 2.9. Okay, I just don't want to have too much load, because these bearings in this motor are very small, and if I preload these belts too much, it's going to fry this drive bearing and or the back bearing of the motor, because those are little itty bitty bearings, so you don't want to have too much tension on those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up. I'm going to loosen it up. I'm going to give it another like 2 cogs worth of slack. Okay, there's the 2 cogs worth. So I'm going to tighten it back down. Again, not extremely tight. So now let's see. So 2.8. But now this is locked in much better. So let's turn it back. I'm thinking I want to get like 2.4. There's 2.2. 2.2. And you know what? I actually like that. It's not bottomed out. So if it needs to go a little bit further, I can certainly go a little bit further with it. We'll go just a tiny bit more, just to, let's see, that's 2.4. Two point four. And I think that that's going to be good. Even if I loosen it a little bit, that tiny little bit of rock is back. But I'd rather have room to tighten it a little further. then not be able to tighten it further, because it's going to stretch as it goes. So definitely being able to pull these out a little bit more if I need to, and then tension it. I think that that's definitely a bonus. Okay. So we'll leave that. We'll tighten this down. Okay. And I'm just giving it a little bit of extra bump because it's hard for me to get my hands in here when it's really close to the extrusion like that. So I'm just using the channel locks to give it just a little bump extra. Okay, so that's good. So now we'll go ahead and put this back. And it looks like that plate moved. It moved out of the way just a little bit. So let's see if this lines up. And then once we get it lined up, we'll go ahead and pull it down and then tighten it right where it's at. Okay, so that's it right there. Okay. So now that's in. Now we'll do the same thing. Just gonna do another check. So we got 2.2. if we're being real picky, 2.1.5. And again, this doesn't feel like it would preload that bearing, so that's what we're looking for. We do not want to overstress the front motor bearing. Now we'll move on to the other side. One, two. So we'll back it off 2 full turns. To leave a little bit of room for tensioning. Okay. Okay, so let's see where this is. It's at like a 3. So we'll do another cog back on the belt. That feels real close. 2.2. 2.2. 2. And 2.5. So 2.1, 2.5, 2.1, and 2.1. So Oh, just that little bit of tightening did a bunch. Two point two. 2.2. 2.2. And this one's a little bit tighter. I wonder if that's because of the weight of the, yeah, okay, so it's because of the weight of the gantry on it. Yeah, it's a little bit tighter. And then this one's 2.2. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that like that because this one's 2.2. 2.1 here, let's do a tiny little bit. It's 2.3. And 2.2. 2.2 and a half. Again, that one is less. That one's more because of the tension of the gantry. And 2.2. So we're gonna leave that at 2.2. And we're gonna go put this on now. Okay. And also a lock these as well. Grab the Loctite. Let's Loctite these. Since these shouldn't have to come off anymore. So I snug down the other three so I can take one off at a time and Loctite it. Then I'm doing the one across from it. Just a little bit of Loctite is all we need. I actually just wiped off all the Loctite I just put on there. Okay, now this one. Now this one, Now, we'll actually go back to this one because I remembered that after I did it. So what I like to do is I like to bump these loose when doing stuff like this. It has the spring on here, okay? When doing stuff like that, I like to let it find its magnetic center, so to speak. Okay, so I just loosened it. Now it's gonna find where it likes to sit. It's already attached here, so it has the vertical already set where it needs to go. Now the bottom, which has the 4 screws, I loosened it. Now I'm gonna take each one out and tighten it with the Loctite. I'm gonna snug them just so it doesn't move. Just ever so slightly. And this guy is the one that we'll start with. Okay, so this side is all done. Everything is tight, everything is snug, it's not moving. Now we'll go on to this back portion here. Go from this side, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Actually, go like this, you'll definitely be able to see what I'm doing. Okay. There goes a screw. We'll get that one in a second. Get it on the inside of this. Okay, so we got it back aligned up with the T-nut. And actually, this is on, this goes the other way. This screw falling out has me all screwed up here. Okay, so this goes this way. Now we gotta push this out of here. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna put this like this. If it feels loose enough, okay, so a little bit, loosen it a little bit more. Go through the other ones. Okay. Okay, definitely a little floppy. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so 1.5. Okay, right there it's at 2.1. Let's see what it looks like now. Now it's at 2. Two point two, 2.2, 2.2, and it is all set. So you can see how simple that is when you go through. And then here's this piece I was talking about. That's the slider with the G5EC bearing on there, the fisheye. And then that has two M3s that hold that in. Either M3s or M2.5s. Forgive me if I misspoke, but yeah, there's two 2 screws in here that hold that in that you can see. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to do this last one. I just wanted to kind of show you how it goes together and how I'm doing it. Whether it's right or wrong. If it's wrong or there's any suggestions for future printers, I do want to get a 2.4, a standard boron eventually. It's not going to be anytime soon after, you know, incurring the cost of this. But if there's any suggestions when I'm doing these belts or anything, please, I love constructive criticism. Now, if you're going to call me an idiot and stuff, I'm just not going to look at you. But constructive criticism on, hey, maybe next time you could do this and it might help better, I would love it. Because like I said, I'm a newbie. This is my first printer build, and I kind of just went diving headfirst into the pool. Okay? So go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, and now, next time, we will actually be doing the heated beds. And since all of this is up, where we have the Z belts, the motors, all that stuff is done. After I do that last one, the gantry's all set. All I got to do is tighten the belts when the family gets here later. So, yeah, y'all have a good day. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.